Hi, and welcome to another lesson in our series of SolidWorks training tutorials. In this lesson, we'll have a look at assembly modeling, and in particular, how to utilize shortcuts for mating components. So let's get into it. So I've got a couple of items open here. I've got this assembly model open, and I've also got another part open here called round cover, and I'm going to bring this round cover into this assembly. So I'll just divide up the window here for a second, and so we can see those. I'm just going to drag this one from one side to the other. You can minimize these if you like, just to give yourself a little bit more space if you're struggling for monitor space. So if I hold down my left mouse button just to highlight that little circle there, and I drag it over here, and keep your mouse button down, so keep the left mouse button down, and you can see that little indicator coming on saying it's going to line that up with that. This is one of those special cases, so because there's a matching hole pattern there already in both of these parts, the tabs key on this occasion, normally it would flip the alignment. On this occasion it's going to just let me dip the tabs key, and we can kind of rotate that around, and it looks like the actual little spud's moving around, but really it's the four holes that are lining up and moving around. So I'm going to move that till I get that on the bottom side of that, and now I can let go of my left mouse key. I'm going to slip around the back and do the same again on the back. So hold down my left mouse button again, drag the part across, and just line it up with that, and again then the little tabs key, and just let it go then when that's in, and we've got them mated into that. If we look here, you can see both of them have mated. So we've got two concentric and a coincident mate in both of those parts. So they've created mates for us. Just one very handy kind of click, say if you're going up to mate and lining them up on that. So a quick little tip on that. So I'll just close this window now. I don't need this part open anymore. And I can make that full screen. And I'll just throw it into isometric as well. So to continue with the use of SmartMates, this extends all to the components that have already been brought into your assembly. So I'm going to insert a component. I'll insert this offset shaft, and we'll just throw it in there. So if you've already got a component in there, so while holding the Alt key, if I hold down on my left mouse button, clicking on that surface identifies the component to be mated and identifies a mating entity face. So if I move down to here, now once I've got that little paperclip, you can see that little paperclip on screen, I can now let go of my Alt key, and then I can line that up to wherever I want. So in this case I want that to be lined up with that other hole, so I can let go of my left mouse button, and then I get that little concentric mate, and I'm going to accept that. So I'll just click to clear that. And now I'll move in so we can see this a little bit better, because we're going to make this face and this face here. So using the move component command, so if I select move component, and if I click on SmartMates, if I zoom in and just double click on that face, my little paper clip comes up, and then I can select that face, and it's going to give me a coincident with that face, and I can click OK on that. And click OK. And that's that part mated. Okay, so before I insert the next part, I'm actually going to open it up first. So it's this part called shaft. And we're going to create a little mate reference on that. So this is going to assist us with bringing the part in. So the mate reference is found on the features and reference geometry. If you go down here, mate reference is found in there. Again, you can drag it into anywhere in the panel if you like. So I'm going to pick this little corner edge here, so this little circular edge. Again, you're probably familiar with that. If I select that edge, it's going to reference this surface here, and it'll give me the diameter as well, so it'll do to it with the one. So I'm going to select that as my primary reference edge, and I don't need a secondary or tertiary. So I'm going to just click OK on that. And you can see it creates a little mate reference folder here. So we've got our little mate reference. And if I save that part then, and if I pop back to my assembly, when I insert my component then, and if I spin it around, you can see just by selecting it, it automatically picks and inserts it quite easily for me. So if you've got a part that you want to do, I'll just click OK on that. So if you've got a part that you use over and over again and you want to, make it life easy for yourself, typical example would be maybe bolts and screws and things like that, that you're going to drag and drop them in. To save you having to go up to mates and select all those mates to tie them up, you can actually use this mate reference to make life easy for you, dragging and dropping parts in. So it'll line them up at the same time as you're bringing them in, and you'll find it's really, really handy. And that also works from again, dragging the part in from Windows or from the design library. The part, wherever you're dragging the part in from, that little mate reference will work from all of that. So just to show you that, I'll actually delete that shaft from there. And I'll go back to my part again. And over in design library, I select the parts folder, hardware, and I'm going to add that to the library. So I'm going to add it to the hardware library, and the item I want to add, so it comes up here in the properties panel. So I want to select that. So it's the shaft I want to bring in, and you don't have to call it by the part name. We can kind of change that name, say underscore and DL. And you can select this location from here as well, and you can add a little description if you like. We're okay with that, so I'll just click OK on that, and we should look there, and you can see you've got the shaft DL in that design library. So instead of having to open it up now, I can close that down and come back in here, and coming over here we can just, I'll spin that around again, sorry about that. So I drag that in, and we can drop that in from our design library. Now it's a configured part, so we'll take in the S102B. So there's a few different versions of it, and click OK on that. Now just trying to insert a second one, so just X out of that, and that's that part inserted and lined up. So if I just check the mates on that shaft, you can see we get that concentric mate, so it's lined it up with that with the edge of that component. So just one final little tip in regards to our mate references. So if I just throw this into isometric, so the first part we put in, well actually sorry, the second part, this offset shaft part we put in, if we were going to use that over and over again and we want to add in mate references to that, we can do that in place. So if I right click on the offset shaft and edit part, we can come up to reference geometry and mate reference, and we can enter in our primary reference or our secondary reference. We can enter in them, but we've already got references that we captured. Then we don't have to take them all, but we might just kind of take this bottom one, so we might decide to make use of that. So if I select that, that becomes the primary reference. So you've already referenced it by dragging it in, so if you decide, that'll be handy, I'll kind of keep that, and you can do exactly the same and save the part out as well at that. So if I click OK on that, so you can see I've now got a mate reference in there on that part, and I can save that back then and save the changes and close that back, and now that part has forevermore got that mate reference in there. So it's a really handy tip to have, to use those mate references on parts that you're using over and over again. So that's that lesson complete. If you have any questions about this video, or if you'd like to leave a comment, feel free to pop one in the comments below, and I'll try and reply to as many as I can. While you're here, if you feel you got some value from this, if you could hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, as I'll be posting new content every week. And thank you for watching. Hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.